this is Mara Pellerito and my audience members Olaf and Olaf Snow Babies because my parents are at my grandma's house. I will be discussing the topic of adolescent communication and how it can be impacted by the Johari window and a better understanding of what is the Johari window. As it is a cliche in many movies and countless jokes or discussions at the dinner table, adolescents have built up a reputation for moodiness, and part of that reputation comes from a communication or the lack thereof between adults and adolescents. I believe that part of that barrier in communication lies in a lack of understanding about the qualities that make up a person and how those impact the communication between the two. I will discuss what the Johari window is, how each pane of the Johari window impacts a person's ability to communicate, and how an adolescent can improve their understanding of the Johari window and therefore their communication. At some point, we have all been, or will be, or are currently a teenager, and understanding the ways that teenagers communicate can be vital for the relationships that we form between adults and teenagers, or teenagers and children, or any type of relationship. A better understanding of the Johari window can help any communication in any relationship, not only limited to adolescence. I currently am a teenager, and I understand how a better understanding of myself can help me communicate with others and can help me build relationships that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to build. I have also watched my older siblings, and I have seen how they are able to communicate better once they understand fully who they are communicating with and the qualities about themselves and that person. Now let's look at what the Johari window is. The Johari window is a method to better understand the qualities about oneself and how those impact the way that a person communicates. The Johari window was created by psychologist Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingham. There are 4 panes: open, blind, hidden, and unknown. Each pane represents a certain part of a person and how those parts of a person can impact the way that a person communicates. I have a diagram as my presentation aid. Here it is. Each pane is shown on this diagram. Each pane can help you, understanding each pane can help you create relationships and build on them where otherwise you might not have been able to. Now let's look at how each pane impacts communication. Each pane impacts a person's understanding of themselves and the qualities about themselves that are needed to improve communication and relationships that are being built. The open quadrant is filled with things that are known about the individual by themselves and also by others. The hidden quadrant is things that the individual knows about themselves but they keep hidden from others. The blind quadrant are things that others know about the individual but the individual does not. And the unknown quadrant is made up of things that are unknown to all, not only the individual but everyone else as well. Now let's look at how teens can I have my presentation aid on that one right here. This one gives more detail to each pane, so it has the name and then also what each quadrant represents. Let's look at how a teen can improve their understanding of the Johari window. Oftentimes, adults have preconceived notions about the way that teens should or could interact with them or communicate with them, and oftentimes teens and adolescents have no idea how they should act and have no idea what is expected, and that often results in a barrier between the two for communicating. Understanding that sometimes there are qualities that an individual keeps from the other person can help the individual when realizing that the other person doesn't know those things about themselves, and so there might be that gap between the two. And on the other hand, understanding that the individual has kept things from the other person on the part of the other person can help them realize there's more to this person than I understood before. A teen can learn more about what is in each quadrant and what each quadrant represents through the Johari window exercise. And I have my presentation aid. It is an exercise that we did in this class. It is a list of adjectives, and a person can print off the list and give it to a person of their choosing, and it asks the person to select the adjectives that they think represent that person, and then distribute them into the 4 quadrants. And examining that, which qualities about the person are in each quadrant, can help create a better understanding of what is going on and motivating that person in any way. I hope this presentation helped you understand the importance of understanding the Johari window and the qualities about a person that make up their communication. Understanding the Johari window can help. Understanding how each pane impacts a person's ability to communicate can help. And understanding that there are ways to improve your knowledge of the Johari window can also help. All in all, there are many parts to communication, and while there are many things that go into the reputation of teenagers' moodiness and attitudes, communication is a big part of that. And as we learned here, it is important to remember that there are parts of communication that aren't known to everyone or that are still being developed. And the qualities about a person can impact that in a big way. And so there are things that are still being developed or discovered as a teen and as an adolescent that need to be understood by all members of the communication.